Hi again. Just a short update on some of our preliminary planning for operations. And I want to do this before I start doing a lot of scenery work so that I'm not having to tear it out. Just in case I got to put crossovers in and maybe some additional tracks. But anyway, what you're looking at right now is the Ready Tracks West, and I've put 3 trains in there. The Texas Chief, the GFX Fast Express, and the LSX Fast Express. So these are the first 3 coming up from the west. I'm going to swing around. Now, based on some comments, one of the guys who looked at my blog on Model Railroad Hobbyist, he mentioned that I should try to get the one of the yards to be the western trains and the other yard to be the trains coming from the east. So what I've done is I was able to do that. I spent a couple of days last week, and right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trains in what is called the B yard, which I'm now going to use as the western yard. So these are all the trains that are west. And we'll be coming back from the west up the western helix. So I'll stop for a minute, walk over to the other side. Oh, before I do that, we'll go up. And this is Elizabeth City, or I call it Tulsa. And right now I've got 1 train sitting there, and that's the Tulsan is ready to go back east. Now I'll shut it off and walk around back. Now what I've done is these are only the trains that are coming either from the north or the east, and typically like the Burlington route or some of the other roads like the Missouri Pacific, which is up here towards the front. They only go from staging up to the Union Station and then back down to staging. So once again, these are only the trains that are coming from the east, and in the case of the Santa Fe trains, they'll be coming from Chicago. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trains sitting here. I've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 empty tracks on this side and 3 on the other side. The inner track, which is the 10th one, way in here on both yards, is the runaround track. It makes it much easier just because it's the shortest one. I've done some measurements on the length of trains, and that's just the one that is the best for that use. Now, what we'll do is we'll go back over to the Ready Tracks East, which is right over here, and you'll see these are the trains that are lined up to come up at some point coming from the east. There's a freight from the Missouri Pacific, for example. I think there's one here from coming from Chicago, the Santa Fe, that's in the front. Then behind it is a fast freight coming out of the UP from it's either going to Colorado or coming back. It's in Colorado, so it's coming east to Union Station or Kansas City. And then there's the El Capitan in the back, which is coming from Chicago. Up in the Union Station yard, I've got the Southwest Limited, which is going back to Chicago. It's Milwaukee Road. I've got 2 mixed freights that are sitting here ready to go west. The 73 going west, and 69, which is the Southern Kansas fast freight. That one's going up to Elizabeth City or Tulsa. And then we also have another train going to Tulsa, which is the Oil Flyer, which is sitting right there. And we have the city of St. Louis sitting there, ready to go back to St. Louis. So, but anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing. I got to go back and do some more annotations on my charts. I want to one day next week I'll go ahead and run some of these trains and see how everything flows. I want to be able to just make sure everything's flowing right before I do too much scenery. Thanks for watching. See you next time.